Morning, this is Jeremy with Plumbing Solutions. We are out here at one of our customers and we are going to do a trenchless water line. So if we look around the property, you'll see there's an electric line that runs right through our way. We have other utilities coming through, the telecommunication. Customers dug up in a few locations and we have found multiple leaks, so they're going for the replacement option. So we've dug a hole down at the meter down that way. And what the goal is we're going to dig down on that end, and then we're going to dig down here in the corner, so up here near the edge of the porch, and we are going to use a trenchless method to pull a new line approximately 90 feet from the house back to the meter. Very beneficial for anyone who has sod, irrigation, multiple different I guess you would say utilities coming through the property that would make it for a difficult dig. So this is going to be a good, safe alternative that's going to keep your yard looking pristine.
Here we can see Robert feeding the pulling cable through from the meter, heading towards the house, going under the grass without disrupting any of the garden. So we are currently walking about 3 feet above the root that the existing broken line is, and where the cable has now been run through it. So going along with the theme of minimal intrusion, we have a couple of guys that have placed some panels on the ground in order to put the gravel and the dirt that is being removed from around the house to expose the line going under the house and under the sidewalk. You can see how the sidewalk is not being damaged during this process and how the majority of the yard is still basically untouched. Here is Gerald, our operations manager, explaining the scientific method of attaching the cable puller to the cable, and how as the vehicle pulling it will actually make the puller grab that cable harder so that it does not release it during this process.
Should have a latch on it. I thought that moved a moment ago. Yeah, there you go. Now push the cable on. I would turn it over, Robert, so that you're...
Now Robert is attaching the puller to the cable in preparation of attaching a tow rope to the Jeep to be able to pull everything out smoothly and
the harder you pull,
seamlessly.
the tighter it bites.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move up, pull the truck up.
On the house end of the cable is an attachment which mates the pulling cable to the new PEX pipe so that the two do not get disconnected during this whole process. What is going to happen is as it pulls the new PEX line through, the attachment actually splits the existing PVC, and that way it follows the same path that is already there under the yard. Now here is the process in action. So the Jeep with minimal effort is pulling the cable through, which obviously is attached to the new blue PEX, replacing the exact path of the old PVC. So what that's doing is, as you can hear, that noise is the old PVC splitting as the new PEX replaces it.
It's the blue.
Here we can see the first signs of the blue PEX replacing the old white PVC, just ripping it right out.
Cool.
So just a couple of processes left.
You're
First
good.
of all, here's Robert tying
Good,
onto
James.
the meter
Yeah.
on the one end by the street.
Nope.
You're cool to tie in.
Tie in.
What's that?
How to get through the wall.
Oh.
and Jeremy under the house being fed the other end to be able to tie onto the existing plumbing inside the
You
house.
can pull it a little bit more. Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop.
You got about 12 inches, you can keep going. There you go.
All right. Yep.
And we're doing the trenchless water line. We just finished up, so we started here. You can see a couple little spot holes, but pretty minimal. We went straight all the way to the edge of the porch there. We're just going to kind of walk it out. As you can see, we didn't really disturb too much. So this was a much quicker option. Saved a lot of money. So essentially, if we were trenching this, we'd be out here, you know, most of the day, probably 3, 4 o'clock. Would have cost approximately $5,000 to do the trenching and get everything going, and the yard would look nothing like this. So the least invasive one, we probably would have been around $3,500 on this option, and we didn't break the sidewalk, we didn't hit the electrical line, the cable's still going, and as you can tell, the flower bed is back to how it was before we started. Yeah, we were all done, saved our customer a lot of money, and we saved a ton of time. It's approximately 12:30, and we started around 10. So 2.5 hour process.
All right, so we've completed the job. I'm Gerald Henderson, the manager.
Thank you, Gerald.
I want to know, I come out just to make sure that everything went well, and
Great.
I want to know what you think of this process.
It was slick and quick. We were happy with the work was done so easily.
No damage to your yard, really?
No, great.
Very non-obtrusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lawn was very little amount that, you know, was dug up, and it was quick, and we're pretty impressed.
The cost was saved some money, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're
About $1,500.
happy with the. Yeah, about $1,500. I'm glad you're happy with the job.
Yes, sir.
And hope to serve you soon again.
Thank you, Gerald.